Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III, best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. Serious question for you. Does your school have a high level of behavior referrals coming through your electronic system on a monthly basis? Does your school or district have a high rate of suspensions and expulsions? Maybe even a record number of expulsions that I've seen at some of my schools. Do you know, and as the school leader, can you identify that you have a culture problem within your building or the organization, and that is how the adults conduct themselves? Now, this requires for you to be very much in touch with reality and face brutal facts. If these are you, the key here is you're not alone, so you don't have to feel bad. The great news is if with the right approach and you being courageous and saying, hey, it is time for us to address this, in 1 year's time, your outcome and your production can look totally different. Those behavior referrals in 1 school year's time can completely begin to go down with the right approach. Not just telling people don't write referrals, not just saying, hey, we don't suspend. So not just by the fact you just tell people, hey, don't kick kids out anymore. No, by the right approach, you can have a much better approach to it and a better relationship and dynamic between the students and the teachers and the adults themselves. You can see a overall cultural overhaul in 1 school year's time by taking the right approach. One of the things that we saw is I've been able to pull what I see are the 5 irrefutable reasons for school suspensions. Let's get to the list. Number 1, once again, when the kid makes it to the principal's office, this has just happened to me yesterday. I'm in the principal's office, and kids are getting referred down to the office, and just so happened when I'm there, the principal wants to handle it that day, and just like it checks out. The kid says the teacher don't like him. Number 2, the student doesn't like the teacher. So think this through. We get the kid down. Hey, what happened? Teacher don't like me. Number 2, the students don't like the teacher. So we've met the teacher. We know you. We know you're not likable. Teacher is boring and not engaging. So think this through. The teacher, we know as the leader of the building, as the administrator, we know the teacher's boring down there, boring 8-year-olds. Down there boring 11-year-olds, down there boring 15-year-olds, boring them. However, and so once that engagement is broken and the kid goes in a different direction, then that puts in conflict with the teacher, then the kid's got to go. Number 4, a jellyback principal. What is that? That is a principal that will not enforce the rules. That means that's a principal that goes up and down with the weather. The purpose of policies and the rules are for your own protection and safety. Don't ever make a rule you're unwilling to enforce. If it's not important to enforce it, it shouldn't be a rule. The biggest problem in this suspension game, in this business, is we have people that won't enforce their own rules. So you got to explain that to me. You want kids to follow rules, but you don't want to enforce rules. Enforcement is the majority process of discipline and of school structure. Enforcement of policy. We get giddy and excited about enforcing the discipline. No, we have to enforce the policy. We're under this impression that kids are just going to do what we say because we put it on the wall. Do what we say because we said do it. That's not how it works, even for the good kids, whatever that means. All rules must be enforced. And if you're unwilling to enforce, they shouldn't be a rule. And number 5, unsupportive discipline policies. What does that mean? Our policies are really bad. I'm evaluating handbooks and rules of what we have going on, and the rules are so bad they don't support what we're trying to do. For example, if I have a 3-fight policy, I am not discouraging fighting. I am telling you, you get 3 fights. Then you get to hurt 3 people. and then you get to go. A kid at one of my schools, I believe in Ohio, the kid told the principal, hey, this only my second fight. You can't kick me out. The kid said it. So if we have policies that encourage the conduct we don't want, folks, we are kicking ourselves in the foot. And you will create a culture where you get more of the same. Discipline policy should discourage. It should not be sanctions and rules. It should not be the punitive policies of prison culture that gives tickets versus rehabilitates. Discipline, sanctions, and policy should be felt to discourage. So this is why I don't believe in 3 days of anything. That's like going to the county. Immediately 10 to 30 days discourages. You know what it does? At the absolute least, thought. 3 days is no thought. It's 3 days. 5 days. 10 days. Hey, what? Because what is that? That gets everyone's attention. So I'm going to, in later videos, now you know what I'm saying. Here's the deal. And this is what we're doing this summer. What I have asked my management to do is to give me 3 2-day slots to where we can have this process, which is it's our Behavior Institute. And the Behavior Institute, very simply, breaks down behaviors and breaks down the student-teacher relationship and teaches administrators and teachers how to improve their discipline practices. It is a real-time 2 to 3 day process for a district or a school to where we get into the in-depth details of student management, personalities, how you approach things, and discipline and behavior policies that work and don't work. I do not want my districts to continue to doing policies that don't work. I do not want my districts, the ones that are under my care. I have 176. We're going up to 200 this year. Our requests are already there. However, I'm going to move some things around to where I have some flexibility to if an organization knows they want to make that change and they are ready to make the change and to listen and to follow the guidance, it's an easy thing to do, but you have to do it. Structure is the key. Under awareness of details of how a policy should be structured, how it works best. And I don't want to put in policies that do not rehabilitate or change the conduct of the children. In the next video, we're going to break down the behaviors. We're going to break down the behaviors, and I'm going to show you exactly which behaviors we can address and which ones go to a higher pay grade and a higher that's over our head. Because meaning, if they're over there doing certain things like threatening, okay, it's 2019. This business has changed. Things like fighting, we have to take a new look at it, because what's being proven is that if we let fighting get out of hand, somebody is going to get killed and somebody's going to get fired. Because when your school is in that video that's trending with your school name on it, and you're the campus administrator, and it goes bad and makes it to that level of thousands of hits in the news, somebody is getting called into office. I like to always say, if that CNN truck's out in front of your school, one thing we know for sure is somebody's last day. We just don't know who. And your job as a leader, an administrator, is to make sure you stay out of that position.